Casualty spoilers, for the record, Flynn's desperate rescue, Rita's secret exposed, and a paramedic showdown ahead of Ian's wedding. As the current Casualty box set internal affairs builds toward its dramatic crescendo, next week's episode, titled, For the Record, promises an emotionally charged hour packed with medical emergencies, ethical confrontations, and personal reckonings. As tensions rise, lives hang in the balance both inside and outside the emergency department, ed. In this latest chapter, Flynn is forced into a race against time when Anna is violently attacked, Rita's undercover plan to expose Russell unravels, and Indy decides to lighten the mood with a paramedic competition ahead of Ian's long-awaited wedding. Here's our detailed spoiler roundup of all the biggest moments coming to Casualty this Saturday on BBC One, and available to stream from 6 a.m. on BBC iPlayer. 1. Flynn fights to save Anna, but is he too close to the case? Flynn's morning begins with anticipation and nerves as he prepares for a pivotal presentation before the Healthcare Security Committee. Alongside local councillor Anna, he hopes to secure much-needed funding to bolster resources for Holby's overstretched ed. Yet even as he sharpens his pitch, Flynn's personal life is unraveling. A heated argument with his wife Claire over his growing closeness to Anna leaves him frustrated and distracted. Before leaving for the meeting, Flynn reaches out to Anna with a voice message, suggesting they go for a drink afterward, a moment that hints at a complicated emotional bond between them. But any possibility of a lighthearted rendezvous is shattered upon Flynn's arrival at the council building. There, he stumbles upon a horrifying scene. Anna has been stabbed during an attack linked to escalating tensions around the Holby Docks riots. With adrenaline kicking in, Flynn springs into action. Despite being off-duty, he applies pressure to Anna's wound, barking instructions, demanding help, and trying to keep her conscious as paramedics arrive. But once at the hospital, things grow even more complicated. As Flynn oversees her care, Dylan begins to question his objectivity. Is Flynn's judgment clouded by personal feelings? Is he risking Anna's care, and his own career, in his quest to save her? This harrowing ordeal forces Flynn to confront the boundaries between professional duty and emotional involvement. As Anna's life hangs in the balance, Flynn must dig deep, not just to save her but to prove to himself, and his colleagues, that he can handle the pressure. 2. Rita's secret mission begins to backfire. Rita has spent weeks carefully navigating a risky and deeply personal mission, exposing Russell's long history of abusive behavior. After secretly leaking the infamous, inappropriate surgeons list to the press, she's now walking a tightrope at work, trying to stay under the radar while gathering concrete evidence against the man who has intimidated staff for years. But trouble is brewing. Rita notices that her boyfriend Sean is growing distant and moody, unaware that he's discovered her role in leaking the list. Their once trusting relationship begins to unravel, as Sean is caught between loyalty to her and the professional fallout he may face. Meanwhile, Rita takes a bold step forward, requesting a private meeting with Russell under the pretense of discussing her career progression. What she really hopes for is a confession, a recorded conversation that would finally expose him. But Russell, ever the manipulator, sees through her and abruptly turns her down, citing the current climate as a reason to keep things formal. With her plan now in jeopardy and her relationship on shaky ground, Rita must reassess her next move. Will she take a more aggressive approach? Or has her attempt to bring Russell down put her in danger herself? Rash gets a shot at redemption, but will he take it? Rash finds himself confronting a mistake he didn't make, but still feels responsible for. When teenage patient Libby returns to the ed, it's clear she hasn't forgotten their last encounter. Libby wrongly believes Rash was the one who contacted social services about her home situation, not knowing it was actually Flynn who bypassed Rash and made the call. Feeling betrayed, Libby withdraws, refusing to engage with Rash. The young doctor, racked with guilt, attempts to explain but finds himself stonewalled. In a moment of frustration and hurt pride, Rash lashes out, not at Libby but at Flynn. He accuses the clinical lead of undermining him, turning what should have been a supportive learning environment into one of mistrust. But when Libby arrives accompanied by her schoolteacher, Rash's instincts are piqued. There's something off in the teacher's behavior, something that doesn't sit right. Could there be more to Libby's situation than meets the eye? With a second chance to help Libby, and perhaps protect her from a larger threat, Rash must set aside his pride and dig deeper. Will he redeem himself, or let personal feelings cloud his judgment once more? 4. Russell learns the truth, and it gets ugly. Back in theater, a simmering conflict finally reaches boiling point. During a complex operation, Rita throws Sean under the bus by asking for Russell's help mid-procedure, a move that publicly questions Sean's capabilities. Humiliated and angry, Sean later corners Russell and reveals Rita's betrayal. She's the one who made the anonymous group public. The revelation shocks Russell, but it also gives him ammunition. He finally agrees to the one-on-one meeting Rita requested, but it's clear he's coming prepared. Behind closed doors, the tone is anything but cordial. Russell confronts Rita directly, his usual cold, controlled demeanor giving way to barely veiled threats. The power dynamic shifts rapidly, and what begins as a confrontation escalates into a psychological standoff. Rita tries to hold her ground, but the stakes are now much higher, and so are the consequences. Will Russell retaliate publicly? Will he expose Rita's leak to the entire department? And just how far will he go to protect his reputation? 5. Indy organizes a paramedic showdown for Ian's big day. Amid all the high-stakes drama, Casualty delivers a moment of levity and charm thanks to Indy, who's in full wedding planning mode, even though the wedding isn't hers. With Ian and Faith's big day fast approaching, Indy is surprised by Ian's unexpected tenderness and emotional openness. Teasing him for his usual emotional cluelessness, she's nevertheless touched when he asks her to help solve a surprisingly heartfelt dilemma. Who should be his best man? The contenders? His longtime colleagues and friends, Teddy and Jacob. Rather than make the decision herself, Indy hatches a hilarious and heartwarming plan. RuPaul's Stag Race, a friendly competition designed to test who deserves the honor. Complete with quirky challenges and plenty of banter, the contest not only adds humor to the episode but also reminds viewers of the camaraderie and deep bonds among the paramedic team. But beneath the surface, the challenge also forces Ian to reflect on his friendships and his journey, from the broken man he once was to the man now preparing for a new chapter with Faith. Final thoughts. The latest Casualty episode, for the record, delivers everything fans have come to love: high-stakes medical emergencies, deeply personal character arcs, and socially relevant issues that refuse to shy away from controversy. From Flynn's emotional turmoil and Rita's dangerous gambit to Rash's struggle for redemption and Indy's heartfelt antics, this installment is a perfect blend of tension and tenderness. As Internal Affairs continues to explore the murky overlap between personal loyalty and professional ethics, one thing is clear: Holby's Ed is never just about saving lives. It's about the messy, beautiful complications of the people who do the saving.